Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Carla and I make videos about showing up for yourself. In today's video, I'm going to be chatting to you about the final supporting actor in my weight loss journey and how I lost over 180 pounds, which is my plant-based diet, and how that helped me to lose weight, and a principle that sits really well with weight loss and eating a plant-based diet. I thought I would maybe kind of chat to you first about my diet history in terms of like my style of eating, not in terms of weight loss, and then also chat to you about these principles. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I eat a fully plant-based diet. I don't consume any animal-based products. Now, I want to put a little disclaimer in here, a couple of disclaimers. I know that veganism can be an extremely polarizing topic, or plant-based eating or plant-based lifestyle can be extremely polarizing topic for many people. I am not trying to convert anybody to plant-based diet or to veganism. I live in a household where I am the only person who eats 100% that way, or 99.9% that way. I am also not promoting veganism. I think everybody can do what they want, but I'm also not looking for any people who are omnivores to tell me that my diet isn't okay. I'm not interested in changing it based on other people's opinion. I'm very happy with the way that I eat. So I just kind of want to give those disclaimers that if you're about to go into the comment section and like hit me up with how I need to eat meat, you're wasting your energy. I'm very cautious of using the term vegan because I believe that there are people who are, live and die by the term veganism, and I am not perfect in any way, shape or form, nor is anybody else. But there are times where I might slip up, I might eat something accidentally. There are times when my mother brings her absolute best cake over to the house and I'm gonna have a mouthful of it, and that's okay. I try my best, I try to do what I can, and I think that because people don't want to try if they feel they can't do it 100%, and I want to say that like giving it your best go, maybe then you can't use the term vegan, but like c'est la vie. So my food consumption history. So I did not choose to eat a plant-based diet in order to lose weight. I have eaten some kind of variation of a plant-based vegan, plant-based vegetarian, pescatarian diet over the last, I want to say 12 years. I can't exactly remember the like bang point where I was like, no, I'm done, I don't want to eat this. Actually, I remember the point where I said no. I don't remember what age I was. I know I was definitely living at home, so it was pre-2011. So what's that, so it's at least 12 years, if not longer. I think it's probably more about 15 years that I haven't like regularly consumed meat and or animal products, except for one period of time, which I'll get into shortly. But there was literally a point where I was eating lamb for dinner and I was like, ugh, I can't eat this. And I literally put my fork down and said no. Now, my whole life, I have always had kind of issues with eating meat. It's kind of not really sat very well with me. There'll be times where I like kind of turn off the part in my head that would say where this comes from, and I would eat it, but there was always like, it just never sat really well with me. Neither did milk. I despise milk. Now, I mean like despise, and it's not because of where it comes from. The thought of it just turns my stomach. I used to love cheese, but like I really despised milk my whole life. Even if I got milk on my skin, like it would freak me out. And I think when I was really young, I had gone off milk at one point. Somebody didn't notice that it was gone off, and I drank it when I was a child, and that was it. That was like the turning point for me, and I could not consume milk at all anymore. It was just disgusting to me, really vile. So I have not really consumed milk for the majority of my life. And in my teens, when plant-based milks became available in Ireland, I switched to them. So I used to drink almond milk. That was like my main milk of choice for the majority of my life, since as far as back as I can remember that it was available in Ireland. So I've always had that kind of aversion to milk-based products. I could never stand fur. I thought the idea of fur was disgusting. I used to like leather and wear leather, but like that kind of like, I'm more, that like the fur idea really bothered me. But anyway, I know it's not really that important towards like diet and stuff like that, but basically that was, I've always had that kind of like, I always felt a bit icky consuming anything like that. So fast forward my 20s, my very early 20s, I was eating that lamb dish and I was like, ugh, I cannot consume this anymore. And at that point I was done eating meat. I still ate fish for a good period of time. So I was mainly pescatarian for my entire 20s and most of my like early 30s, I think. So my early 30s. Anyway, I was mainly pescatarian and or vegetarian with periods of eating plant-based. So I would kind of go plant-based for a while, then eat a little bit of like cheese or something like that. And really anytime I was vegetarian and wasn't plant-based was I was eating cheese. That was basically the difference. So fast forward then, I was about 30 and at 29, 30, I got really drunk one night. And no, it was even earlier. Yeah, it was 29. I got really drunk one night and ate pizza with a slice of salami on it. And I was like, oh my God, I missed this. And I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted to lose weight, but I thought that I wouldn't be able to lose weight while I was vegetarian / and or pescatarian, and that it would be so much easier to go back and do keto again. And I was like, well, I've eaten it now, like I've kind of gotten over the hump. I might as well start eating meat again and try keto. And I did that in, I think it was just before my 30th. Yeah, it was sometime around my 30th birthday. And I did that for about a year. I ate meat again. And then I was like, no, I cannot eat this anymore. So I've kind of like always been more on the like non-meat eater side, more vegetarian than plant-based. And then I really was quite rigid in not consuming any kind of animal-based product then from there on in. So kind of around the last 15 years, the majority of it, minus 1 year, I have been a vegetarian and or pescatarian. I have not consumed meat or fish or anything like that in a very, very long time, at least 4 years. And there have been periods where I've eaten dairy and not, like cheese and then not. So I'm not a perfect vegan. I honestly, like, there was a point where I didn't call myself vegan at all because I didn't want to insult any vegans, but then it kind of got labeled, I got labeled vegan, and that's, you know, it kind of wasn't like, and well, I'm actually plant-based because I'm not perfect and there's some products that I use that I'm not 100% sure, and like there's all the like, are we sure about the cruelty-free, and is it cruelty-free, if the parent company isn't cruelty-free, you know, like there's all like, it's such a mammoth, you know, thing. I think the most important thing to do, if it's something for your ethics, is that you always try to do your best. We cannot be perfect at all points, and that's okay. We're not looking for perfectionism, but if you want to make that transition towards a more ethical diet and way of life, you know, making small changes that are sustainable for you. And I know there's a couple of people that I know that like eat plant-based every single day except 1 day a month they have a steak, and like that is not my choice, but I don't judge them for that. That is their decision. So I think that there is a lot of judgment that goes around, like from both parties, like the extreme vegans and the extreme non-vegans, and like you're just, if you're somewhere in the middle, you know, you just gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, that's been a long freaking introduction to my history with plant-based diet. Now I just want to say that I did not start eating plant-based vegan diet in order to lose weight. I did for ethical reasons. It just didn't sit well with me, and that's my choice. But what is lovely about being a vegan or eating a plant-based diet is that you have access to this wonderful principle. Most people do, but I love this principle, and it's the abundance principle. And for me, as a former binge eater and at the time when I started losing weight, a food addict, I liked to eat a big amount of food. Now, if you handed me a small steak with some broccoli and some steamed potatoes and told me that that's what I had to eat in order to lose weight, I would say, that's not enough, I can't eat that. Like, my inner child would be like, no, I'm not gonna eat that, that's not enough food. So for me, to help me in order to get over the psychological aspect of eating less food, I adopted the abundance principle, or volume eating. And that is where I would eat a lot of food, or bigger portions, or see more food on my plate. However, that food would actually be less calorie dense. Then say if I was eating, like if you had a steak with butter sauce, I have no idea what the calories are. I have absolutely no idea, because I've never counted calories while being a meat eater. So I have no idea what the calories of any kind of animal products like that are, or butter or anything like that. So, but I know that they're higher. Whereas I can have my huge fajita salad for less calories. I can have that with like 300, 400 calories, and it is huge. I'll insert like a picture here. It's huge. So eating from a plant-based diet has really helped me in order to reduce my calorie intake while keeping the volume of food that I ate at a higher level, which helped to satiate my inner child, who was okay with the fact that they were eating less calories but still decent sized portions, until I kind of worked through that need to have huge portions. So that's kind of how eating a plant-based diet has really kind of helped to slot in really well with weight loss for me. So for eating from the abundance principle basically means that the food that you're eating is closer to the ground, and therefore technically has less calories. It just happens that those foods have less calories. So I'm talking like eating high volumes of fruits and vegetables, mainly vegetables. Now, I know that this sounds really boring when you are like looking at losing weight. You're like, is this woman really talking about eating more vegetables? Like, is she actually serious? But hear me out. When you start seasoning things really well and properly, these things taste really, really good. Also, what I noticed is when I started to remove the crap from my diet, so started eating less, processed food, and I still eat processed food. I'm just gonna put that out there. I still eat processed food. I noticed when I started to eat closer to the ground and more kind of like natural foods and less processed foods and less kind of like animal-based foods, that my taste buds changed. And especially when I was losing weight, I noticed that I think what I realized, sorry, this is such a chatty, like a real chatty video. I noticed that when I started to lose weight, one of the reasons that I managed to lose weight was because I became more mindful about what I was eating, and I wasn't getting the high from like sugar or processed fats that I would have been getting from other foods. Instead, I was starting to eat more like natural, more closer to the ground types of foods, and therefore but at the same time was also being more mindful about consuming my food and enjoying my food and taking time with it and not being distracted while eating. I'll leave a video up here. I think it's in this like 5 things I stopped doing that helped me to lose weight. Like, I might leave that up here if you guys haven't seen that before. But those kind of things really helped me. By being more mindful, I started to enjoy foods that I once deemed boring. So for example, vegetables. I at the moment am on a rocket kick. Now I mean like, it's arugula in the US, for any of you who are like, what the hell is she talking about? But I love rocket at the moment. Like, to me, it is just so delicious. And I kind of go on these like different kicks every so often. Courgettes, to me, courgettes on the pan with a bit of Lawry's, I'm sorry if I get this wrong, Lawry's seasoning, or is it Lawry's? There is one lady who helps me out every time I pronounce this wrong. I don't know why I find this so difficult. But I just literally like put some spray oil on the pan, slice courgettes into like, you know, like coins, put them on the pan, a little bit of seasoning on top of them, put a little bit of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is like it is a gift from the gods. It is a vegan, we call it vegan crack. And it's something that people don't want to try unless they're vegan as well. I know they're like, whatever the hell that is. And it's not a cheese substitute, but it gives a cheese-like taste to other foods, and it is just, it's so good. So just courgettes with some of the seasoning on top of it, a little bit of a nutritional yeast and some lemon juice on top. That is like I think it's like less than 50 calories for like a whole courgette. And it is an incredible snack. In fact, I'm gonna go downstairs and make myself one after I finish filming this video because it's so good and it's so tasty. And like you've got all your nutrients from the courgette, you've got your nutritional yeast, which has fiber, it's got vitamin B12, it's got fiber, vitamin B12, and actually it's protein in it as well. And I know that there's this thing about like being vegan and protein, and like protein comes from vegetables, you know, like as well. Like you don't ask a gorilla where it gets its protein from, you know, like there's so many, veganism, plant-based diet are so polarizing, and I totally get it. I totally understand. God, I'm really rambling, aren't I, in this video? I didn't really, anyway. So the abundance principle basically is where you can have these voluminous, delicious meals, and the majority of my meals, if you guys don't follow me on Instagram I have a highlight page where I have shared like different, and I also have a guide. Do you know that there are guides on Instagram? I'll leave a little thing here and like a circle around it to show you what it is, but there are guides, and I have a recipe guide on that, which are like my favorite recipes that I've created, and they're so good. Like it's, when I just noticed how much better I enjoy really good food than I did before, because my tongue has adapted to the flavor and the taste of better cooked food, of better, like more plant-based, more natural foods than it did before. Like I used to love, you know, like cover everything in cheese, cover everything in butter, you know, like cover it in, like used to love like crispy chicken, like fried chicken, you know, like, but it's not actually the chicken, it's like the deep fried, the flavor, you know, it's like all the flavors, the added things. It's not like a piece of like raw chicken tastes that good. It's all the flavors that you add to it. So it's doing the same, but to vegetables, and therefore they happen to be lower in calories, which makes things so good. It makes it so good and so handy for losing weight. There are then, of course, like some swaps that you can do. For example, I love coffee with like what would be half and half in the States. For my Irish contingency here, half and half is half milk, half cream. It's freaking delicious. It's the only like dairy based thing that I think, like milk type substance, that I liked. It's so freaking good. It's so good, and I understand, I get it, but it's so high in cholesterol and it's so high in calories. But cashew milk tastes nearly exactly the same. It gets that creamy, and oat milk. I love the Minor Figures Barista Oat Milk Light, which is 37 calories per 100 ml. It's like nearly nothing. Like it's nearly nothing. Like 2 of those in the morning with my coffee, like 180 mils, 160 mils of that I have in the morning with my coffee. It's so good. It's so good. So that's like a simple swap that you can make, you know, from like milk or half and half to a plant-based alternative, which can really help to reduce calories. And you know, it's not like labeling yourself vegan or anything like that. This is just like a good swap that can help. Dark chocolate. The majority of dark chocolate is accidentally vegan. There are no milk solids in it. And dark chocolate is something that helped me to get through my weight loss, because it helped me to give me that chocolate hit, but with less calories, and it happened to be vegan. It's accidentally vegan, which is just phenomenal. Now you can be an unhealthy vegan. I just want to point that out there. You can be a fat vegan, which I hate that term, but you can, because you can eat chips and pasta and bread, and bread is vegan. Like the majority of bread is vegan. I don't know about like the processed breads in the States, especially the ones like sliced breads in the States. but like sourdough is vegan, and my God, is that stuff good. But like, it's amazing as well, when I was in France, because everything is kind of like served with cheese or eggs or you know, like a lot of butter and things like that, I was eating an awful lot of carbohydrates when I was away, and I really felt that like fat vegan thing, like that like really unhealthy vegan. And all I wanted to do when I got home, we had no food in the house when I got home, no food. So we didn't, like we were really late, and I was like, I need a takeaway. But I'm ordering a Camille Thai takeaway, which is from around the corner from us. Like, they have really good Thai food, and I ordered a kale salad. That's got to show you how much I have changed in my life, is that I ordered a shredded kale salad because I wanted that, because I know I needed the nutrients. So that's the change in your body and what your body starts to crave as you're losing weight, as you're like feeling good about it, because I was feeling so crap from eating all this bread. But I needed these like nutrients, and I wanted a shredded kale salad and like a stir fry that was full of mushrooms and broccoli and peppers and things like that. Like, that is all I wanted. Actually, I really want that now that I'm thinking about it, because it's so delicious. But that's just to give you an idea. I know this has been a real rambly, chatty video. Like, I just kind of wanted to talk about the abundance principle and talk about like how, you know, like if you want to eat less animal-based products, you can inadvertently and accidentally eat a lower calorie diet, which can result then in weight loss, which is all just like this really nice happenstance that comes together for it. So guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. But if there is something that you would like me to cover, I think what I'm going to do next is do like a video, a Q&A on all the different actors in my weight loss journey. So body slims, my mental health and therapy, walking, plant-based diet, and intermittent fasting. If there's something that you guys would like me to cover, or a question that you have, or something that I didn't get into that you'd like me to do more depth in, I think I'll do a Q&A on this series, and hopefully I can answer any questions that I left out, or I might even, like, if there's something I forgot to include in one of the videos, I can include it then. But thank you so much for sticking with me. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. What will we do as an emoji? Oh, let's do a plant. Let's do like a leaf, because, you know, veganism likes to be really like obvious about it. But guys, thank you so much for always watching and always sticking with me. I absolutely love what I do here on the internet, and by every time that you subscribe, that you like a video, that you comment down below, that you share it with somebody, that you do the same on my Instagram or on my TikTok, you guys really help me out, and it helps the algorithms to know that this is worthy content, that you have deemed it worthy, and it helps to show it to more people. And by doing so, it helps me to be able to continue to create videos like this and hopefully reach more people. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you all as always, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.